Hi guys and welcome back to the channel Held Dominance. Anthony here. Please remember to like and subscribe and also click that notification bell if you're enjoying what you're seeing and if you want to see more. Coming up in today's episode, Dylan Edwards signs a new contract, Loch Lane gets a plum tie in round 3 of the Challenge Cup, and Premier Sports hail a success for opening rugby league fixture. And that's where we start with Premier Sports, as they have been, what they're saying is, expressed strong satisfaction with the audience that tuned in to watch York City Knights do battle with Featherstone Rovers on Monday night in the opening round of this season's Betfred Championship. Those are the words from Premier Sports Managing Director Richard Webb, who was happy with everything that's gone on so far. Hosted by Emma Louise Jones and with punditry from Jodie Cunningham, Kevin Brown and Leon Price, as well as commentary from Mark Wilson and pitchside reporting from Ross Fides, the Premier Sports Managing Director Webb said, "Yes, we were really happy," he told TotalRL.com. "We are delighted with the new faces, who all did a good job, and the commentary was excellent also. I thought it was fresh and dynamic. We got an average viewing of 51,000, which is superb for a broadcast behind the paywall. Hopefully word will continue to spread about the great coverage amongst fans, and more will get behind it. But the initial interest has been excellent, so we're overall happy." That will be pleasing for the RFL and the Championship clubs, who will hope that an even bigger audience will be drawn to next Monday's blockbuster between Featherstone Rovers again and Lee Centurions at Featherstone's Millennium Stadium. Kickoff is at 7:45 on Monday. The viewing figures for week 1 of the coverage is thought to have reached around half the regular figure of the Scottish Cup football, which is one of the jewels in the Premier Sports crown. So all signs are positive for the RFL and the Championship for their Premier Sports showings. As I said, one of the jewels in the crown, the Scottish Cup football, and they're getting around about that sort of fixture. Half of that for day 1. Imagine what the interest would be if all clubs started pushing it. And we saw a lot on Twitter. There was a lot of footballers. I think Corbin Sims was one of them in Hull KR, from OKR, that was actually happy with all the Premier Sports commentary team and the commentary of all, plus the punditry of the people involved. It was all insightful, all knowledgeable, a little self-deprecating as they referred to Kevin Brown's £1 million game loss in one part, which he felt very hurt about, but brushed it off as a joke. But I like that. It's a bit more feeling involved with the actual content, and they love the sport, so hopefully it'll continue. So it's been announced that Penrith Panthers have locked in Dylan Edwards for 2 more years. But the Premiership winning fullback is wanting to be a Panther for life. The 26-year-old inked an extension last week that will keep him at the foot of the mountains until at least the end of 2024, and he told foxsports.com.au that no rival club held talks with him, or even on the radar, but that's because he never had any intentions of going anywhere else in the NRL. "I didn't want to be a free agent or anything like that. I always wanted to stay here," Edwards said. The extension means Edwards will reach his 100th and potentially 150th NRL game milestone with the club that gave him his debut back in 2016. Obviously, however, if the Beligan Dorigo Jr. has it his way, he'll finish his career a one-club player. And with that, he said, "It means a lot of signing his new deal. I'm very fortunate, obviously on the back of a bit of success. I've been able to play alongside a lot of the boys that I've played a lot of footy with so far. Yeah, that'd be ideal when he was asked if he'd like to be a Panther for life, but obviously it's a few years down the track, and I've got to play good footy. It's good, it's a cliche, but I can't look too far ahead. Good footy is one of the statements that is well pointed at, but winning a premiership with a fractured foot has surely given him a head start on that. Without going into too much detail, Edwards recalls last season's grand final, post-grand final celebrations, a bit blurry but awesome. The battered and bruised Panthers got a shot at redemption after falling short in the 2020 grand final, and this time they didn't miss, no matter how many of their troops were on the last legs. Edwards was spotted in a moon boot in the lead up to the grand final. It was later revealed by coach Ivan Cleary that he had fractured his foot a month prior to the grand final game. He ran a game high of 231 metres on that fractured foot, with no painkiller injections, mind you. But despite his dominant performance, there was a moment that Edwards thought in the lead up that maybe he'd have to watch from the sidelines. I wasn't sure if I'd be alright, he recalled. I think after the prelim against the Storm, when I came off, I was pretty sore. I had to do a bit of fitness testing throughout the grand final week, and I hadn't run or walked on it. Even so, I wasn't sure how it was going to go. I couldn't have injections because the way my foot sort of worked. It was more risk of actually displacing if you were to inject and the muscle relaxed. Edwards is there basically saying that his fracture was in a position where if it was injected in, the muscle would relax and wouldn't support the fracture, so it would mean that it would be in so much pain and have a longer time out. So he had to tense up a little bit. No injections, but he's fully recovered now, and you could see it. He isn't one for getting ahead of himself. Even if he's asked if the Panthers would go back to back, he said, "We'd like to do well again this year." So Loch Lane and the Royal Navy were rewarded with notable victories in the second round of the Challenge Cup with home advantage when the third and fourth round draws were held at the Crown Oil Arena in Rochdale. Loch Lane, the Castleford Community Club, who stunned the semi-professionals of Oldham in the second round, will face another team from the Betfred League One, the Rochdale Hornets, who are celebrating their centenary of their only Challenge Cup triumph in 1922. The Royal Navy, on the other hand, who beat the British Army in Aldershot to reach the third round of for the first time in more than a decade, will now host the York Acorn of the National Conference League in Portsmouth as they aim to reach the fourth round for the first time in their history. York Acorn themselves have done the hard yards. In the first round they played in Edinburgh, then they played at home, and now have got to go to Portsmouth. That's a run and some miles that the amateur club does. Vicky Molyneux, the Rochdale-born England Women's International, who conducted the draw with the former England and Great Britain star Paul Sculthorpe, MBE, also pulled out her former community club Rochdale Mayfield as the home team against Doncaster of Betfred League One. The winners of the ties will also have home advantage in the fourth round draw later in February against Whitehaven. That tie, Rochdale Mayfield versus Doncaster. One of the 14 Betfred Championship clubs who joined the competition at the fourth round stage. There will be 5 all-championship ties and also a heavyweight knockout championship Lancashire tie as well. So let's look at the draws for the third and fourth round, as the Betfred Challenge Cup entrances make their way towards the final at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So in the third round, ties will be played between February the 12th and 13th. We'll see Lock Lane versus Rochdale Hornets, the Royal Navy versus York Acorn. Then the London Scholars host their conference side, Hunslet Club Park side. Swinton Lions, who vanquished a Welsh team in Wales, face the other Welsh team, the North Wales Crusaders, in round 3. Rochdale Mayfield play with Doncaster, and Hunslet host Siddle. Now on to the fourth round. These ties welcome the Championship clubs into the competition, where we'll see York City Knights versus Newcastle Thunder at the York City's home ground in a local derby, the closest local derby that Newcastle have. Halifax Panthers host Featherstone Rovers. Leeds Centurions play Widnes Vikings. Lock Lane or Rochdale Hornets will host Barrow Raiders. Batley Bulldogs will face either the Royal Navy or York Acorn. London Broncos face Bradford Bulls. London Scholars or Hunslet Parkside will face Sheffield Eagles. Then the third winners of 2 third-round draws, Swinton Lions or West Wales Crusaders, will face Hunslet or Siddle. Workington will face Dewsbury in an overall championship tie, and then Rochdale Mayfield or Doncaster will face Whitehaven. And that's it for another episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe, and also click that notification bell for any updates that may be coming your way. Also, please remember to share these videos worldwide so that we can get the word out for Rugby League and also this channel as we look to grow the game. We can do it. You know we can. We can get the people out there playing or watching the sport. I want to thank you all for getting in touch on the comments. Keep them coming. I love it. I want the discussions to carry on. Now, I want you to tell me who are going to be the teams that go through to round 3. You only have to pick 6. And, well, hopefully there'll be a consensus. Will there be any games that'll have any shocks in there? Going through to round 4, facing bigger boys. Be interesting to see. But in the meantime, remember to stay safe, all the best, and I'll see you in the next episode.